Thanks a lot for coming into my kitchen today. Well, what a perfect fall day, right? And what tastes better in the fall than something appley and cinnamony? And so I'm making an apple crisp. And this is like a classic recipe, but with just a little bit of changes to make it not only classic, but like over the top delicious. So let's come on down to my work bowl and we're gonna get started. So in the topping part, I have some unbleached flour, and into that is going to go some old-fashioned rolled oats. Now if you don't have the old-fashioned, that's okay. You can use the quick cooking. And I have some cinnamon here. Again, there's that wonderful cinnamon thing happening. And I have some wonderful brown sugar. If you have dark, you can use the dark sugar. If you have the light, you can use the light sugar. It's very versatile. And then we have a little baking powder and a little salt in there. And I'm going to give it a whisk just to get this all broken up and make sure that we're ready to go here when I start adding the butter. Yeah, huh? Is that looking good or what? Okay, now I'm going to put in the butter. This is cold butter that's been cubed into nice little cubes, probably 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, or maybe even a little smaller. And I'm going to just drop those in so they're spread out instead of one huge clump, because that's why I broke them up into tiny pieces to begin with. And then you have a choice, and I'm going to let you have the choice. You can either get my hand wiped off here. You can either use a pastry cutter. And you know, that works well. You get in there and you start smushing it around. Or you can go in there with clean hands, and that is my way of going it. I think first of all, you get a better feel for what you're doing in there as far as getting that butter broken into the brown sugar and the oats and the flour. And it's going to also give you a more crumbly crumble, as far as, you know how when you get a crumble and it's got a little bit of butter and a little bit of maybe a little chunk of the oatmeal and the flour, so there's a lot of different textures. So once I have this totally broken into the way I feel it should look, I'll bring you back and we'll go on to the filling. All right, as you can see, this is a nice looking crumble. It's just nice and evenly mixed, and yet there's those wonderful little nuggets of goodness in there. And now I'm going to add some finely chopped pecans. Optional, totally optional. If you're not a person who's able to eat nuts, then leave them out. These are pecans. If you wanted to add walnuts, that would also be a very nice choice. All right, so now that is our topping, and I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to bring in the filling portion of that. What I have here is actually a combination of apples. I've got one Granny Smith, I have some Fuji's, and I have some Honeycrisp. And to me, this is a wonderful combination. First of all, they're firm apples, and so they hold up in the cake, in the cooking part of it. And they're also it's fairly sweet. So they're just a wonderful combination for this kind of thing. So I'm going to add a little bit of melted butter. There we go again. And then I'm going to stir this in a little bit, just to coat those up. And by the way, the director sliced these up into 1/4 inch slices, and then let me show you here. And then we put them in some lemon water to keep them from turning brown. Now we have a little bit of flour here, and this is going to help all those juices make a wonderful, wonderful, sauce, if you will, in this apple crisp. Here is a little of apple cider vinegar, just apple cider. And if you had, apple juice, or if you had water, if you don't have the apple juice or apple cider, you could even, if you wanted to booze it up, you could put a little bourbon in there. And I used to do it and again. So here's some brown sugar. And if you're using really tart apples, you might use a little bit more brown sugar. If you're using a really sweet apple, you could use a little less. And as I always do, I'll give you the instructions down below, and you can check that out. So what I have here now is some ginger and some cinnamon and a little bit of nutmeg, and then just a little bit of salt there. And then I have some vanilla. And then I'm going to add some dried cranberries, just a small amount of those. And now I'm going to give this a really good stir. You want all those good things coating these apples. Oh, can you smell that over there? Can you smell the cinnamon and the nutmeg and the apples? Oh my goodness.
And you could use raisins in it.
You could, yes, you could use raisins, absolutely. And the other suggestion that he made while I was checking on my salt to see, make sure that wasn't baking powder, is he suggested maple syrup. And I thought, wow, that's a pretty awesome idea. So there we are. Everything is, oh, that looks wonderful. Everything's coated nicely with the cinnamon and the flour. Oh gosh, it smells so good. So good. Oh, there's one of those little lemons there. We thought we'd gotten them all out, and I'm glad I saw it. So there's a lemon I used to keep those apples. I want to make sure I haven't got any more in there. Yep, that looks like that's it. Okay, I'm going to bring in my pie. Now, you know, everyone uses a square pan, and I've used square pans in the past. He says to me, why don't you make it in a pie dish? It'd make it so beautiful. And you know what? He's right. So he buttered the pan really well. And now I'm going to, if I can pick this baby up, it is heavy. I'm going to put all these apples in here.
Should I mark that date on my calendar if I was right?
What's that? Oh, stop now. Okay. And I'm going to really pack these down because as they bake, right, they're going to reduce in size. And I'm going to try to maybe move a little of these cranberries around here just to make sure that they do look pretty well dispersed. Okay, so I'm going to flatten that down. And then, of course, I'm bringing in that fabulous topping. And I'm going to spread that out. What I probably will do is put most of it in the center, and then I can spread out from here. Oh, again, all that cinnamon and nutmeg and butter. The smell in here is, it's just delicious. It's autumn fragrance. That's what it is. It's autumn fragrance. Okay, this is ready to go in the oven. I have my oven set at 350 and my oven rack is in the center. And I'm going to put this in the oven and I'm going to check it probably at about 50 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a sharp knife in there to make sure that those apples are cooked. You'll see lots of bubbling of juices along the side, and the apple topping, you know, should be nice and brown. And if it's not, you know, put it in for another 5 minutes and then check it again. But anywhere between 50 minutes and an hour should be plenty for this. And once it's ready to come out of the oven, we'll bring it back, let it cool down a little bit, and then we're going to take a taste. This looks so good, and it smells amazing. So I'm going to scoop us out a nice portion here that we are going to take a taste of. Oh, wow. Oh, I can see those cranberries in there and this beautiful sauce from the apples. Oh my gosh. All right, and I'm going to get us some whipped cream to put on that. Nothing is going to make this more delicious than ice cream would be great, but what I have here is some good old Reddi-wip. But you don't need a lot of it because this is, it's just got so much wonderfulness. That is going to be a perfect bite. So we're going to get some spoons and we're going to taste it. Whoa, whoa.
What?
What happened here?
I don't know. What did happen?
Well, I left you alone long enough for me to get spoons. And I came back from like, oh, this is all you need, whipped cream, to like, this is all we need, whipped cream. It does look wonderful.
Remember the good old days?
Anyway, here it is. Is this just, oh my gosh, is that just too beautiful or what? All right, my love, here you go.
Your what?
I wanted to say love, but duh came in front of it. Love. Oh, it just smells. I'm telling you what, this is fall in a bowl. Oh, what do you think? The crumb, the crumb on
Wow.
top, the crisp.
That's got to be one of the best things I ever tasted.
Oh man, I'm telling you what.
Oh, that's good. That'd even be good without whipped cream. I'm sorry you put so much on there.
Really? I want to tell you, let's go from the bottom up. The apples are perfectly cooked, perfectly seasoned. The sugar and the spices.
You're talking a lot.
You want me to eat more?
Talking time is not eating time.
Right, I'm going. I have to describe it to them. Hang on. Oh, that's too big a piece. All right. Go ahead, you take it.
I want to get some more apple.
The cinnamon, the nutmeg, the subtle ginger. The apples are cooked perfectly. Then let's go to the topping. The crumble, crisp,
So crunchy. So delicious.
crunchy, buttery, flavorful. And the pecans, I'm telling you, this is absolutely, it's one of my best works.
It's perfect.
It is perfect.
That's delicious.
It is perfect. I'm going to have one more bite. Say something I said, because I've got to eat something here.
Hurry up. That is so good.
And
Everything in there is just perfect.
it's just perfect. The cranberries are excellent.
Just a little too much whipped cream.
So if you're saying, it's a little too big for us, freeze it. And I'll put freezing instructions down below. Get it really cold, and then cut it up into the portions that you want. And you can put it into a plastic container and freeze it that way, or you could wrap it in saran wrap and then freeze it that way. And then bring it out and just reheat it in the oven. But will there be any left?
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, great recipe. Try it out. It's fall. You should be eating an apple crisp, right?
The perfect dessert.
It is really good. All right, we done?
We're done.
We're done. Thanks a lot, everybody, for taking the time to watch and enjoy the recipe with us. We hope you'll give it a shot. What?
Nothing.
All right.
It's dessert time.
And that's it. Everybody, take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.